This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wrestling Omakase. It is episode number 183. This week, I am very pleased to be joined by a returning guest, TJ, the host of the One Wrestling Podcast. Hi, TJ.
Hey, John, what's up?
Not much. What's been up with you? I'm guessing not a lot.
Yeah, not really. It's the same old, since every day is the same nowadays, but...
Locked inside our homes forever.
Pretty much. Hopefully things get better when sometime next year soon.
It's like every single episode that has a guest starts this way. It's like, hopefully by May of 2021 things will look a little better. But yeah, it sure sucks in the US right now. I had on our last Patreon episode yesterday, I had Liam McCann on from the, you know Liam, he's also Super J Cast Squad. And he's, of course, from Australia, and he was like, well, we haven't had a COVID-19 case in over a month. I'm like, well, why do you fucking die? Look at you with your competent government and your island.
Yeah, so I saw him on Twitter, like, he posted that he's going back to his office for, like, the first time since, like, March or something. And I'm like, that's way off for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, my job, like, downsized the office because I guess they figured that this is going to go on for a while, and also that, like, nobody's going to be in a rush to want to come to the office every day, even after things go back a little more to normal. But they suddenly started talking about, like, towards the end of, middle of October, they were suddenly like, oh, maybe people can start coming in more, and then all of a sudden things got bad again. And it's like, well, that talk died down very quickly.
Yes, our office was kind of doing the same thing. They were making it seem like, oh, maybe people could go back if they wanted to, but now it's pretty much for at least until the end of the year, if not longer than that, probably. Yeah. Just working from home, which I don't mind.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind. I mean, that's the only... I hesitate to say anything's a good thing when, like, so many people are dead and all that, but I definitely don't mind working from home, I have to say. Mostly, I didn't dislike my office. Mostly just the commute was really bad. But, I mean, it's one of these things where it's like, yes, of course I could do my job that's mostly, like, replying to emails and writing articles. I could definitely do that at home. It's not like I needed to be in the office to do that. So, But,
yes, I'm definitely not going to miss the commute this year with all the surrounding the deal with snow. I'm going to stay at home and work. I mean, I won't be able to get out of work early just because of snow, but for the most part, I'm just going to be nice to stay at home and not have to drive through all that crap.
Yeah, and obviously I probably couldn't do as much Patreon content as I do now, which is a little transition here. So the Patreon is at patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. Of course, we're here today to discuss two tournament shows here, the Best of the Super Junior Night 6 and the DDT D-Ou Night 3. If you want to hear daily coverage of both those tournaments, plus the World Tag League, it's all up on the Patreon right now for only $5. You get coverage of all three of those tournaments. Audio with just me. Also, we did a Patreon exclusive full episode yesterday with, like I said, Liam McCann, who was a first-time guest who did a great job. And he and I broke down two more of these shows on, like, what I call a doubleheader day. So you get all that tournament coverage for only $5. Daily audio is up there for you right now, and we'll continue all the way through the end of the tournament, of the tournaments, I should say. But you also get, of course, all of our other audio content, all the 5 matches episodes that are up there now, all the 1-match episodes I did on all the Okada Tanahashi series, the Naito Ishii series, the patron requests, which ended up being awesome. So, if you want to hear like a bunch of random stuff, like everything from Kiari Sane / Hojo's first ever wrestling match was one of them. We did one that was like from the newborn UWF in the late 80s. We did this All Japan versus War tag. New Japan versus War. I'm sorry. New Japan versus War tag. We did an All Japan, the Triple Crown tournament final right after the All Japan Noah split. I mean, all sorts of stuff. That's, not even, there's even some newer New Japan stuff too. So there's all sorts of stuff on that series. It was a lot of fun. In the month of December, what we're going to start doing, besides the tournament coverage that's going to complete, mostly on the Patreon, we're going to be doing a new 1-match series covering every Tokyo Dome main event in order. So that we're not going to complete that this year. That'll become like an annual tradition that we'll do in December and January until we get through it. But we'll start that this year with the about 1 or 2 of them a week until see how many we can get through. Probably a little after Wrestle Kingdom even. But I don't just say New Japan. I mean, I'm going to do New Japan, but anything else I can find. There's that one Joshi company that did a dome show during the middle. I think it's JD Star. He did like a dome show during the middle of a like some kind of like modeling convention that the parent company was holding at the Tokyo Dome. That I probably won't be able to find because I don't think footage of that exists. But other than that show, I think it's all on tape. So hopefully I can find all of these main events outside the New Japan stuff. So we'll do all of them we can find, all the main events in order. It'll be a good chance to talk about all these different Tokyo Dome shows, and it'll be a lot of fun. So that'll be coming up in December. The year in review episodes we do every year. Some of that will be on the Patreon this year. I haven't decided which ones yet. I think for sure if we even bother doing a WWE one, it'll probably be on the Patreon because people seem to really like it. But like, I really need to get paid money to do a WWE 2020 year in review, especially if anyone actually wants me to like watch stuff for it. I mean, I really don't want to do that for free, honestly. So, because I really think I've watched like maybe 2 hours since Elimination Chamber. Like, I just can't do, I can't do the Thunderdome and the Performance Center. It's just, that stuff is completely unwatchable to me. So, if we do a WWE year in review, that'll definitely be on the Patreon. Maybe one other one too. Maybe Joshi, maybe other Puro, maybe DDT. I think New Japan will have to keep on the free feed. But yeah, the year in review stuff, some of that'll be on the Patreon. And there will be a patron voting, which I just decided to do recently. So that will go up for December patrons, probably December 1st, where you'll be able to vote in the Omakase Awards. We'll have a separate like Patron's Choice category, because people ask me every year that I've done these Omakase Awards for Omakase guests only, how they can vote. And the answer has always been you can't unless you were a guest. That's kind of the point. It was like a closed panel of Omakase guests. But this year, we'll have a patron category. So if you've always wanted to vote in the Omakase Awards, you can join the Patreon in December and get your ballot. So that will be for patrons as well. And if you're a patron and a guest, which is a few people, you can vote twice. You can vote in the guest one and in the patron one. But yeah, so we'll have separate awards for the patrons. So that should be fun. So all that good stuff is at patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. Only $5 a month. I think you get more than your $5 worth, if I do say so myself, especially during tournaments, because I feel like every goddamn day I'm doing audio. So it's a lot, these tournaments. But, at least they keep me busy during this endless locked inside my home period, so I can't really complain too much. But yeah, that's the Patreon plug. Again, patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. Okay, so let's get into these two shows. We will start out here with the World Tag League Best of Super Junior Tour, the Best of Super Junior Night 6 from Sunday, November 29th in Korakuen. Big picture, I think this was the best show of the entire tour so far. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think this was like a really great show. The kind of like just top to bottom awesome show that they have not had during this tournament this year until now. But this show was like, I mean, they've really been, the last couple of nights have been good, have been pretty damn good. But like this show was like, I don't know, like almost close to like past years of Super Junior Korakuens for me.
Yeah, I'll say I do think it was a really good show. Like I think all the shows have kind of been similar in that they're mostly good, and then it has like one great match. Usually it's the Hiromu match, but you're at least guaranteed one great match a night, and this kind of did the same. I think I might have not enjoyed the undercard as much as you did.
Yeah, they were, to me, this had 2 great matches and then one, actually really 3 great matches. So I guess I did like some of the undercard better than you did. So, and the other 2 matches were both good. The opener was Satoshi Kojima and Tomoaki Honma defeating Yuji Nagata and Gabriel Kidd. Kojima pinning Kidd in 7:52 with a lariat. Listeners on the Patreon will know that I am struggling to come up with things to say about these tag matches every night. This was another perfectly fine tag match in an endless series of them. 2 3/4. I think I said that every goddamn show. But, I mean, they're all the same. They're all pretty good. They're all very skippable. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Yeah, I'll say I've been skipping the undercard all tour, like all like the opening tag. I've just been trying to just get through all the tournament matches. But it was nice to see the dads after so long, because it's been a while since I've seen them, really. But
I've seen plenty of dads, because I've been watching every one of them.
But the problem is when Honma is in the ring, my brain kind of just turns off, because I couldn't really care much about him since he came back from injury.
Yeah, he's been pretty brutal. I mean, the problem with these matches, like Honma is kind of bad, Kojima is kind of good, and it's like how good the match is just depends on how long Kojima's in there and how long Honma's not in there. So
yeah, and I thought Honma was in there a lot longer than I would have liked in this one, but I did like the little portion with Nagata and Kojima, and I think there was one spot where Nagata was like setting Kid up for a drop kick off the top that I liked, and the double submission spot they did, like Kid and Nagata did, was pretty cool. But yeah, say if I was doing Starry, it's probably like 2.5, 2 3/4, something like that.
Match number 2, our first tournament match, Ryusuke Taguchi defeating Yuya Uemura in 11:26 with the Oh My Garenko. 3-3 for Taguchi. Drops Uemura, of course, down to 0-6. First of all, lots of Taguchi towels and shirts being held up in the crowd. He remains very popular with crowds in Japan, no matter what you personally, as the listener, not TJ, think of his ass-related antics. So I do think that's noteworthy to point out. This had some really nice mat wrestling from Taguchi and Uemura to start. Like, both guys were like really scrambling around without either able to get a clear advantage, but in an entertaining way. And Uemura rolled Taguchi up out of the I guess the Bumaye instead of the Bamaye. I don't know if that's what he actually calls it, but that's what I always call it in my brain. But that was a great near fall. And then we got another close near fall for Uemura on a beautiful German suplex hold. And then Uemura nearly rolls Taguchi up out of the Dodon, which gets some audible gasps from the crowd before Taguchi cuts back to his own cradle for a near fall, goes back to the ankle lock, and Uemura finally taps. So this was a damn good opener, I thought. I thought maybe Taguchi finally got tired of everyone saying he was washed now and only interested in doing pull down the trunks comedy spots, because I thought he worked super hard here and had a really fun opener with Uemura. So, and Uemura has been great throughout the entire tournament, so this was easy 3.5 stars for me. I thought this was quite good.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a little different from you on this one. This is like the one match Taguchi hasn't had his ass out, surprisingly.
Yeah, he did put his ass away.
But yeah, Uemura has been really surprising me this tournament with just how much time and offense he's been getting in on these guys. Like, I figured most of his matches would be like sub 10 minutes and be a night off for these guys, but it seems like everyone's trying to bring their best for him, which is really good. And he's really like the standout for the current crop of young lions that are left, I think. So I'm really excited to see more singles matchups of him. But Taguchi didn't really do much for me in this one, though. Like, he kind of underwhelmed me this whole tournament. Like, usually he's here and people like praise him during tournament times, and the rest of the year he's kind of taking the night off, seems like. But yeah, he's kind of just not doing much for me. Like, Uemura was really good in this, though. Like, this was different than his previous matches, because most of them are like straight babyface or young lion fire from the jump. And like you said, this is more like mat based to start, which I thought was really nice. But yeah, I think this was probably the worst Yuya match he's had, like that that I've seen this whole entire tournament. I haven't seen, what night was it? The night that had Despy and Hiromu. I think it was like night 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that night, but yeah, Umar's been really good this whole tournament, but just this match, it wasn't really anything super exciting to me. And yeah, say probably like 3 stars, maybe 2 and 3/4. Yeah, and I don't think I liked it as much as you did.
Yeah, apparently not. Match number 3, El Desperado defeats Doki in 15-23 with the numero dos. So Desperado is now 4-2, and Doki is now 0-6. First of all, there is a very small child dressed up as Doki, even with his own little lead pipe, which was, as Doki was coming out, which was adorable and yet also mildly disturbing.
Yeah, I think that kid's been in the crowd like in one of the Cork and Hall shows. Apparently, it's the daughter of the kid of one of the fans that dresses up as Bushi all the time at Corkin.
Well, she loves Doki, I guess. Desperado, meanwhile, like practically has entire fucking cheering sections at this point. Like the camera's panning around, you could see this whole section of the Corkin bleachers all had their Desperado towels out, and that wasn't the only fans either who had the Despy merch around. I think that's become one of the biggest disconnects between the Japanese and the Western fan bases, where he's clearly the second most popular junior heavyweight at this point. I don't really think it's that close. And, he's clearly like a big deal in Japan. And Western fans like seem to still treat him as like just a guy. Like I've seen different accounts express surprise at that people think Desperado is a big deal. Like I remember I said something like about how Desperado is Hiromu's biggest rival, and I had a guy, I'm not going to say who it is to call him out or anything, but I had a guy reply to me with like, Hiromu's biggest rival is a mid-card junior, and it's like, well, I mean, first of all, to the extent that all the juniors are mid-card, I guess, but like, it's not like I just said Hiromu's biggest rival is, Doki. I said it was El Desperado, who's like a big star in this division. He has the second longest junior tag title reign in history, and he clearly is the big, the star of the team. I mean, he is one of the only guys who beats Hiromu on a regular basis. Pretty much just in the division, pretty much just him and Ishimori. And I mean, Ishimori beat him once, so it's probably not even. He's beaten him more than once, and he clearly gets a lot of shine, and he's clearly very popular. So I don't know if he's going to get a junior, people seem to have the disconnect with him because he's never gotten a junior singles reign yet. I don't know if he will or not, but like the fact that he was one of those people that got elevated during the summer, when they needed bodies, to get that never title shot against Shingo, I mean, that was not by accident. I mean, this is a very popular wrestler, and I don't think, I think some of the Western fans don't seem to realize that at this point, but I don't know if you disagree.
Yes, he's definitely like one of like the top guys. Like, I probably wouldn't say he's Hiromu's best rival. Like it's pretty much still Dragon Lee, but he's pretty much the number 2. Like whenever they face, it's always pretty great. And I don't think, yeah.
Well, Hiromu's best rival is regularly the company, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I get what you mean by Dragon Lee for sure, but like he and Desperado go all the way back to like 2010 when they were both young lions. So. But they reference that history a lot. But you're right, I did forget about Dragon Blade. That's probably at best it's probably a tie. So
yeah, like I definitely think he's getting a push lately, especially throughout this tournament. And like I said, even through the summer with the New Japan Cup and the little feud with Shingo for a minute. But I think his future's kind of more moving up, maybe, rather than like being in a junior and sticking around with Hiromu.
I guess we'll see. You don't think he's too small?
I mean, he was. In the New Japan Cup, he was like towering over in some of the guys. Like when I remember when he faced Ishii, I was just like, he does not look like a junior compared to Ishii. Like Ishii, he made Ishii look like a junior for.
Well, Ishii,
but, I mean, Ishii is kind of small.
Yeah, Ishii is a junior. He's a fat junior. But yeah, I mean it's true. But yeah, so Doki gets some shining on Desperado early. Hits a nice little like combination that sends him out of the ring. He fakes out a dive when Desperado. I think I said Desperati. Wow. Like combine Desperado and Despy. But yeah, he ducks at ringside, and then Doki does like a little flip against the ropes. That stuff you usually see out of Doki, obviously, but like he appears to be the babyface here, which makes sense, I guess. He's the underdog. Despy, though, was in no hurry to get back in the ring. Doki slid out after him. They traded elbows out there. Despy like poked him in the eyes in response, and he grabbed Doki's lead pipe. He shoved Marty Asami aside and went to use it on him. Doki, though, knocked it out of his hands, and then Desperado hilariously tried to beg him not to use it on him right after he was just going to hit him with it, which is just really funny and a great example of his like awesome character work. Doki does not fall for it and does hit him with the pipe after hesitating at first. Chokes him with it for good measure. But then we get back in the ring, and Desperado works on Doki's leg for a bit. He locks in the stretch muffler for the first time, the numero dos. Great selling from Doki here as he struggles all the way the ropes to break. I mentioned this on the Patreon before. I think it was on a Patreon episode. But Doki, for a guy who has half his face covered by a mask, I mean, his selling is great. And a lot of it's in his eyes, I think. Like, I don't know, he does a great job with these eye motions or something. Like, really getting across that he's in pain. Doki does a monkey flip on the apron to Desperado, who like grazes the apron and then just goes flying to the floor. I can't remember ever seeing that before. That was pretty nuts. And then Doki follows up with his big senton off the top to the floor for good measure. He gets his springboard DDT back in the ring for a 2 count. He goes for the suplex de la Luna for I think the second time in the match. This time gets Desperado like all the way up, like he's about to drop him. But then Desperado rolls through it in the stretch muffler, and Doki finally has no choice but to tap out. I thought this ruled. I thought this was so much fun from beginning to end. My only real complaint here is I wish it could have gone on longer. Just tons of crazy stuff. They packed into I thought the match was relatively short, but it was only over 15 minutes. So the fact that, it flew by, I guess is, also, a point in its favor. Yeah, I went 4 stars on this. I thought they killed it, just like they have all tournament. And so just a really, really great match. Awesome match.
Yes, yeah, I wouldn't go 4 stars, but I really thought this match was awesome. Like, Doki and Despy have like been 2 of the best people in the tournament so far for me. It's pretty much like between them and Hiromu like been the top people for me. And I assume this match is gonna be great, and it pretty much ended up being just about as good as I hoped it would. And that, like, what was it? You called a monkey flip on the apron? That was crazy. It was a little bit kind of slow looking, but the bump Despy took on it was just gross. And so I can forgive it a little bit. Like, Despy sold it like death, and that senton off the top rope to the outside, that was crazy. He does that pretty often, doesn't he?
Well, he came up with that apparently in Mexico, and Hiromu stole it from him, which is funny. But
okay, I'll say, because I know Hiromu does it all the time. I didn't know if Doki did. I know they had they called it the Doki bomb on commentary. I heard that off the Japanese commentary, but
yeah, I believe that's the story. I believe Hiromu stole it from him. So not knowing he was going to follow him to New Japan, because who the fuck could have seen Doki coming to New Japan at the time? He just saw him on the Mexican Indies when he was down there on excursion, I think. So
yeah, it's like that kind of makes sense, because I think in Hiromu's like notebook that he has, that he writes down stuff for each guy. I think he said for Doki it was like guy who does cool moves.
Yeah, it was like guy who does great moves or something. Yeah, it was great. The notebook is great.
But yeah, and like you said, Doki's selling of the stretch muffler was just great. Like, it's like you said, I think it's really his eyes, and it's like he kind of like sells physically too. Like I don't know, like I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, Doki selling that was great for a guy in a mask.
Yeah.
And just the way Despy let it in too was really good. Like, he looked like he was ripping off his leg. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Probably like 3.5, 3 3/4, something like that. So not quite 4 for me, but still a really great match, a really good match.
Afterwards, Doki limping to the back using his pipe as a walking stick to sell the leg some more, while the crowd like sincerely applauds his efforts. Just a great moment at the end too. I don't know, just one of those visuals that'll stick with me. After this match, we learn that Noritaki Kinashi will be the special guest promoter for Wrestle Kingdom 15. He's one of these like Japanese celebrities who's a jack of all trades. He's a comedian, actor, and singer, and he sang a song here during this video, and he was doing like a Don King impersonation that I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, thankfully he did not go blackface with it, but it just had the hair and like the gold chain and stuff. But yeah, it was a pretty good impersonation, I thought. And yeah, the whole, this guy is a big deal. I was like looking him up after watching this video. I mean, he's even I think Mike Spears in the Voice of Wrestling Slack said this, that he like predates even like Beat Takashi as far as like big Japanese comedians. So he goes way back to like the 80s. And, it's just the kind of guy that's like going to appeal to like an older fan, which honestly maybe that's the idea, maybe to reconnect with some older Japanese wrestling fans here, since, if you look at the crowds, they don't seem to have a lot of trouble connecting with young fans lately, especially young women. So maybe the idea is like we need to reconnect to our older male fan base from, generations past, and this is a possible way to do it. I think it's easily it has to be the biggest mainstream name they've been associated with in like 20 years or something. It's a big mainstream name apparently, so.
Yeah, I'll say I was really confused when this guy popped up on my screen, but at least I could read what it was saying, so I kind of got the idea pretty quick. But is that song he was singing like actually going to be the theme? Because
I don't know.
I'm not sure I liked that.
The song was kind of funny, I thought, but yeah, it's the song. I could be wrong in this because it's not obviously. I don't know a ton about the. The idea to me is I thought with the song was to I thought it was like trying to be like a Showa throwback. Did you get that vibe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think for like the video, like the announcement video, it works. But if like that's gonna be the actual theme song for Wrestle Kingdom, I'm not sure I'm really okay with that. Yeah. But for the announcement, it made sense. Like I enjoyed it for that.
Yeah, I thought it was like supposed to be like a Showa throwback song. Look, if you spend any time watching Japanese music videos and stuff, which I do pretty often, you will come across so many like songs like that where it's like clearly some kind of celebrity or other media personality who's doing who has a comedic song or a joke song or even just a vanity song. I can give an easy example that people listening to this might know. That Yada song that became very popular in America, very popular, like as an internet meme in the late 90s, early aughts. Somewhere in there, that was a comedian song. That was a this comedian troupe coming together to make this song that happened to become a big hit. But that kind of thing happens all the time. But celebrities, being involved in Japanese music. But I'm sure you've heard the Yada song, right? Or maybe was that?
I probably have, but it's not coming to mind.
Maybe it's a little before your time. But yes, if you look up Yatta, it's like Yatta. I'd be surprised if some people didn't hear of it. There's what's another one I can think of? I'm blanking on the name. Something beauty salon. Just they kind of became a little bit of an English meme, but now I can't find it. So, Yazima Beauty Salon, which is like a collaboration with like a musical artist and two comedians, and that kind of thing happens a lot in Japanese music. So you just have a lot. Comedians really do love to get involved in and they make these joke songs, and they end up becoming like actual hits. So anyway, just two examples I thought of off the top of my head. The next match here, which was match 4, Sho defeats Master Wato in 12:58 with a shock arrow. It moves Sho up to 4-2, and it drops Wato down to 4-2. So this was all Sho for most of the first 5 minutes. He worked over Wato's arm and was successfully blocking any kicks or other comeback attempts from Wato. Wato, I thought, did his best selling of the entire tournament here. So, definitely something where I think he's needed some work recently. He finally managed to get a Rana after the 5-minute call and did his big spinning dive to the outside. Sho quickly came back with a spear and then just started kicking the shit out of Wato while he was in a kneeling position. And, I think you're supposed to feel bad for Wato here while he's eating these alternating kicks, but at this point in this tournament, he probably needed a bit of an ass kicking, so I really like what his performances, so I didn't really feel that bad for him, honestly. He did come back with some kicks of his own, but then he ate a really hard lariat from Sho that I think was a receipt for a hard kick to the face moments before. I'm not 100% sure it was the face because the camera was behind Sho, but I think Wato caught Sho with something, and then Sho hit an extra hard lariat right after that. So, that could have been me imagining things, but that's what it looked like. But yeah, this suddenly got really stiff and nasty, and it ruled. and then Wato did like a pair of big high kicks on Sho, and then went for the TTD, but Sho got out of it, and then Wato kept dodging like all these different lariat attempts before Sho finally connected and like almost decapitated him, and Wato did this great flip cell, and then Sho just hit the powerbomb lung blower for a 2 count, and then followed by the shock arrow for the pin. Finish was a little out of nowhere, but I thought this match still ruled. The two of them just like stiffed each other like crazy, just beat the piss out of each other. Wato has had a pretty rough tournament up to this point, but this was easily his best match of it so far. Actually, this is going to be the first time I go above 3.25 for him. And Sho has been pretty great, continued being great, so I went 3.75. I thought this was really good.
I definitely disagree with that.
Okay.
This match did not do much for me, to be honest, but like, this was my least anticipated match of the whole tournament, I think. Like, as soon as I saw the participants, one of like my first thoughts was, man, I gotta watch a Wato and Sho match. But like, Sho just doesn't do much for me outside of Roppongi 3K. Like, I'm really waiting for Yo to come back so they can relive the tag team, because even though they probably won't, because they'll probably stay split up.
Yeah, I
like,
think Yo's gonna come. I think Yo's gonna come back and turn on him. I think that's been my prediction for months, honestly.
But yeah, I'm just like, I just need Sho to find a tag partner or something, because I don't think he's that good as a singles guy, at least in like whenever I watch him, I don't really enjoy him that much. But I think he's a great tag guy, especially like for a hot tag. But I don't know, him singles wise doesn't really do much for me. And then Wato is kind of like, you never know what you're going to get from him. Like, he's never bad really, but it's just how good is he going to be in this match. And the match really pretty much ended up being exactly what I expected it to be. Like, Sho was mostly kind of boring to me. Wato had some good bits, but he didn't really like the world on fire for me either, for the most part. Like, his strikes looked really good in this, which is something he kind of struggles with for me. Like, they either look good or they look like shit, never really in between. But I thought his striking was really good here, and like, I don't know, some of the move sequences were just really weird to me. Like I was watching, it's like, what the fuck are they even doing? But yeah, like, I don't know, it was fine. Probably like one of my least favorite matches of the tournament, to be honest. But probably, like, I don't know what I'd star rate it. Really, I didn't rate it, but yeah, this match just didn't do much for me.
Okay, so definitely disconnect that, that's for sure. I can tell you my least favorite match of the tournament was Doki and Ishimori, which I won 2 stars on. I don't know what was wrong with the two of them that day, because they both had great tournaments in that one match, but I don't know, they had a bad day that day. I think that might have been from the show you missed, though.
No, I did watch that. That was Cork, and I think it was like the next house show after that I didn't watch. But yeah, like, that Doki and Ishimori match wasn't very good either, but I don't think Ishimori's been having like a stellar tournament personally, other than the Hiromu match.
Okay, I guess we definitely disagree there, because I really liked his Uemura match and his Eagles match as well. And then the Taguchi and Bushi I thought were pretty good, which the Bushi one we're about to talk about. The only matches I really hated was that Doki match. But so here's up next. Ishimori defeats Bushi in 15:26 with the bone lock. So Ishimori moves to 5-1, and Bushi drops to 3-3. So this started out with Bushi drop-kicking Ishimori before the bell, and then trying a tope to the floor, but Taiji cut him off with this cool hanging kick on the apron, basically nailing him mid-tope. It was quite the start. The match did get a little dull in the middle during Ishimori's heat segment, but Bushi did make a nice comeback, and really, Bushi's been one of my weaker guys in this tournament so far, but like, I thought his comeback here was like among the most fire he's shown in this tournament. He finally got his big tope. He was denied at the start of the match, and then he gets a somewhat slow Canadian Destroyer for a 2 count. He goes for the MX. Ishimori catches him in midair and powers him all the way over into the Tombstone Lung Blower. That looked impressive. The muscular Chihuahua, I guess, coming through there. And Ishimori goes for the Bloody Cross. Bushi almost reverses to the Bushi roll, but Ishimori kicks his legs out just as he's about to get over the top, or kicks his legs away, I should say. It's like, basically, as he's gonna get over him to get like the Bushi was like this hanging crucifix, right? Or this hanging backslide, I guess, actually. And like, just as he's getting his legs over, like, Ishimori kicks him straight up in the air. It was a really cool counter. He then switches to the bone lock, and that gets the tap out. The finish was quite definitive, and just looked very cool. I thought Ishimori basically just countered Bushi's counter and put him away. But yeah, I thought he continues to be booked very strongly in this tournament. But I thought this was the worst match of the night, but still pretty good. I went 3.25. It got a little boring in parts, but I thought I mostly enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah, this match was okay, but I think Bushi was really much the highlight of it because I don't like you said I don't think Ishimori. I don't know what it was with him tonight, but he just kind of felt like he was like sleepwalking through the match for most of it, and then out of nowhere, Bushi hit a Canadian Destroyer to kind of wake everyone up. Like it was a little bit of a slow Canadian Destroyer, but like that was really like the most notable thing in the match to me. Like it just really dragged, and it didn't help. I heard the 5-minute call, and I thought they said 10. So when they actually hit the 10-minute call, I was kind of like, oh crap, we still got 5 minutes of this to go. But sometimes I hear that stuff. But yeah, it was okay. Just nothing. I don't know. I personally, I think Sho and Wato is worse, but it's definitely like one of the lower matches of the night.
The main event, Hiromu Takahashi defeats Arabi-Eagles in 26:01 with the Time Bomb 2. It moves Hiromu up to 5-1 and drops Eagles to a, I would say, somewhat surprising 2-4. I'm pretty surprised by how poorly he's doing so far. We'll see if he gets some wins towards the end here, but I think he might be practically eliminated at this point because they have what, three matches left. Well, no, he can get to 5-4. But he already lost Hiromu and Ishimori. Yeah, he might be out. Now I'm thinking about it. Because the best he can get to is 5-4. Hiromu and Ishimori already have 5 wins, and they both beat him. So, yeah, I think this eliminated Robbie. But there you go. But yeah, this was awesome. I mean, this was a fucking awesome match. A lot of people seem to have it even higher than I do, but so I'll be interested to see what you think of it after I go through it here. Hiromu teased giving the book to Shingo, who was on commentary for Samurai TV all night, which, if you can't hear him watching on New Japan World, it's because you don't get the Samurai commentary on New Japan World. You get a different commentary team. But yeah, he then gave it to Milano like normal. Shingo looked a little offended, which was funny. And then, Milano every night now does like a big bow when he gets it, which I enjoy that. The Robbie entry was like, what, thank you for coming, right? It was like, kute, like arigato or something.
Probably. I didn't read what his said.
I think it was like kute arigato gozaimasu. Kute. But anyway. Eagles, just wipes out Hiromu with a dive and then like starts pantomiming these little cat motions to mock Hiromu. Just like, I thought that was really funny.
I love that.
He nails Robbie Hiromu comes back and nails Robbie with a big shotgun dropkick on the floor and sends him through the railing fence just before the 5-minute mark. He gives a sarcastic Robbie, 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 oi, oi, oi chant in the ring as he's like punching away at him while holding him in a camel clutch. So getting him back for that cat stuff, I guess. We get a bit more taunting by Hiromu before Robbie finally comes with a big comeback. He like wipes him out with those kicks. Does this brutal double knee attack to Hiromu's face in the corner. We get the 15-minute call and things like go to another level. We get a super close near fall for Eagles as he reverses the time bomb into a cradle. He hits a chop block on Hiromu that Hiromu does a great sell job for, just screaming in pain. But then Hiromu comes back with 2 straight super kicks that nearly take Robbie's head off. Hiromu then sets Eagles up on the apron, super kicks him again, then goes for the sunset flip powerbomb, but his leg gives out as soon as he hits the floor. That was just such a great spot. So he's unable to get Robbie over for the sunset flip powerbomb. He gets back up on the apron. Eagles hits a super kick to the leg, goes for the Shuranai using the post, but Hiromu was able to block it, and they trade elbows on the apron. Hiromu screams his name and goes for another super kick, but Robbie catches his leg and delivers a brutal turbo backpack on the apron. That was awesome. We get a count-out tease, but Hiromu just barely beats the count. Just we get the 20-minute call. Robbie goes for the 450 to leg. Hiromu goes up there to cut him off. Robbie fights him off, turns it into a top rope Shuranai, but Hiromu kicks out at 2. Eagles goes right back up and goes for the 450 to leg again. Hiromu rolls partly out of the way, but just takes it on the back instead, which still hurts, of course. So Robbie covers and gets a 2 count. He then goes for the Ron Miller special, but Hiromu rolls him up for their near fall. Robbie hits a running kick to the leg and then successfully locks in the Ron Miller special this time. Just outstanding selling from Hiromu here, acting like he's going to tap at any second, but he eventually does manage to crawl the ropes to force a break. There's a slight botch while Hiromu was, supposed to counter Eagles locking in the Ron Miller special. But, basically... Oh, sorry, the slight botch, he was supposed to counter Eagles, like, straight up onto his shoulder from the reverse Shurenai, and then, like, collapse on the bad leg. He doesn't quite get Robbie up on his shoulders off that reverse Shurenai. Since he's supposed to be collapsing and selling anyway, it's not that big of a deal, but it was, I think, a slight botch. Robbie then keeps kicking at the leg. Hiromu, like, explodes out of nowhere with a huge lariat. He did an awesome job basically, like, leaping on one leg to get the lariat. Unfortunately, he does a full force run into a lariat right after that for a 2 count, which I don't love, but at least he slapped the leg repeatedly right before he ran, I guess. Eagles hits a series of kicks to the face. Hiromu manages to catch him going for a Rana, powers him straight up into his suplex facebuster, which they keep saying the name of, and I never remember what it is, but oh well. He then grabs Robbie from behind, hits the time bomb too, and that is the pin. Match was awesome. It was hyped up pretty big before I watched it, and I think it pretty much was as I expected. Outstanding leg slaying from Hiromu. Fantastic work from both guys. I could nitpick and say Hiromu did that one running spot toward the end, and the finish to me felt a little anticlimactic or something, but still an awesome match. Easily 4 1/4. Right behind Hiromu versus Doki for my favorite match of the tournament so far. I think that's still my favorite, but this would be number 2 pretty easily.
Yeah, I thought this match was just incredible. Like, it was my most anticipated match of the tournament after they were kind of like building up to a Hiromu Robbie match. It seemed like before COVID hit, when like maybe do like a title match at like not New Beginning, but like one of the towards 4 best Super Juniors, I guess. But since we were denied it there, I was kind of really excited to have it here, and they just laid this match out pretty much perfectly. Started off pretty slow with them taunting each other, kept it interesting throughout, slowly built up until like it peaked at like just the right moment around like the 20-minute mark, and just a ton of crazy big moves like that. Like you said, one of my favorite spots of the whole thing was Hiromu going for the sunset flip power bomb to the outside, but then just collapsing because he can't actually hit it because of his leg. Like, some people I saw I forget what match it was. I think it was the Despy Hiromu match where they were saying like, oh, Hiromu wasn't selling well enough in that. But I think he kind of just did the leg selling here perfectly. Just multiple times, it actually playing into the match, like the sunset flip power bomb, and then the running DVD into the corner that he does. But again, his leg gave out, so he couldn't hit it. And that fucking tear rub backpack on the apron was just ridiculous. Like, these two were just going all out, and I'm between like 4.5, 4 3/4. Like, so I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than you, but yeah. I definitely think it was Hiromu's match of the tournament for sure for me. But it might be Hiromu's best match this year. Like, maybe the Wrestle Kingdom title match might be better. It's pretty much between those two for me.
Yeah, I think I like the Dragon Lee match better, but a New Beginning. But
oh yeah, I like that match too. That'd be my number 3 probably.
Yeah, but there you go. This I thought was the best night of the tour. More like what people were expecting from a Best of Super Junior Korakuen. I had 2 matches of 4+, another 3 3/4, a 3.5, and the worst match of the night at 3 1/4. So great stuff here. As the Best of Super Junior really has hit its stride in the second half. I thought the last couple nights have been really good. So hopefully they keep it up here down the stretch.
Yes, I've been enjoying the whole tournament, really. I get the criticism that it's not as good as past Best Super Juniors, but that's kind of what's going to happen when you kind of lose the international flair of Best Super Juniors.
Yeah. I think it's been a damn good tournament. I don't know. I think people are...
Yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot.
People are a little too negative early on, so I think it's picked... Maybe even including me. But, like after Night 3, I remember not being super thrilled with Night 3 at Korakuen, whatever the... Yeah, I think that was the second... Or... No, which one was the second?
Was that Korakuen? The one with Bushi and Hiromu as the main?
Yeah, I think that was the second Korakuen, which I wasn't thrilled with. And then Night 4 and 5 are both pretty damn good, and Night 6 was awesome. So, like I said, the second and third here really picked up, and it's been quite good. All right, so our Best of Super Junior standings after Night 6, we have Hiromu and Ishimori, both at 5-1 with 10 points, but Hiromu has the tiebreaker. He beat Ishimori, so right now he's standing on his own at the top. Then you have Master Wato, Sho, and El Desperado all at 4-2. Then you have Bushi and Taguchi at 3-3, 6 points. Below them, like I said, pretty surprised. Robbie-Eagles, 2-4, 4 points. And then all by them lonesome here, Doki and Yuya Uemura, 0-6 with 0 points, although one of them is about to be at 2 points, as we'll talk about. The Best of Super Juniors Night 7, we get a little bit of a break here. It's Wednesday, December 2nd at the Osaka Municipal Center Gymnasium. The opener is Kojima and Honma against Tsuji and Kid, so finally mixed up a little bit. I guess Nagata didn't want to go to Osaka. Match 2, Yuya Uemura versus Doki. Doki's going to win that. Finally get his first 2 points, so good for Doki. But yeah, that could be pretty good, especially since the fans will like really bite on those Uemura near falls, I think.
Yeah, definitely that's going to be really good.
Match 3, Taguchi against Eagles. I think Eagles wins that. I think he's going to get to 3-4 here, and Taguchi's already at 3-3, and not going to factor. Neither of these guys are going to factor into the end anyway, so I think they give the win to Eagles.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get at least another point, another win. Like you said, I think it's really surprising how little wins he's gotten so far.
Yeah. Then we have Master Wato against Bushi. I could see Bushi winning that, but I think Wato wins because he's going to be alive on the last night because he's facing Hiromu. So I think Wato's going to win that.
Yeah, probably.
Then Taiji Ishimori versus El Desperado. That's a big match. Ishimori at 10 points, Despy at 8. Champion versus champion. Pretty excited for that one. I don't know which way they're going to go with this. I think Desperado is going to win, and I think Sho's going to win the main. So you have 4 guys tied at 10 points. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I think they're going to do. Or 5 guys tied at 10 points, too, if Wato wins. So,
yes, I think Despy's going to win this one for sure.
And in the main event, Sho at 8 points against Hiromu at 10 points. I just gave away, I think Sho is going to win this and get possibly the biggest win of his singles career so far. Actually, not even possibly. It would be the biggest. And yeah, I think, this could be really good. So I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, I'd say overall, I think that show should be really good.
Yeah.
You said it's in Osaka, so they'll probably have their working boots on. It'll probably be a really good show overall.
Yeah. So that will be covered again on the Omakase Patreon. So if you want to hear my review of that show, it's at patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase for only $5. The next show we'll be covering on the Patreon actually is the World Tag League Night 7, which is tomorrow, Monday, November 30th at Korakuen. Also on the Patreon with the big Finjuice versus Dangerous Tekkers main event, which I'm very excited for. I mean, those two teams, I would say those two teams and Shingo and Sonata have been the clear class of that tournament. And then, Okan and Kaba have been a lot of fun too. Goto and Yoshihashi, Tana Hinare. Just, there's a whole, Evil and Yujiro have even been kind of surprisingly enjoyable. Really the only teams I haven't enjoyed that much are Ishii and Yano, who, just Ishii looks very uninterested a lot of nights, and I don't really blame him. And Yano's Yano. Girls of Destiny haven't looked that great to me, other than, Tonga Loa looks okay some nights, and, Tama Tonga just, I don't know. He is what he is, I guess, too. But I think Tonga Loa has surpassed him. And then Fale and Owens have been the dirt worst. Really, the only thing, really dragging down what's been a pretty damn good World Tag League is that fucking Fale and Owens team. They've been horrible. But, anyway. There's quick World Tag League thoughts for those of you who haven't been listening to the Patreon every day. But, I don't know.
Yeah, Sam. You're a better person than me watching all these World Tag League matches. I cannot do it.
They've been good. It's been a good tournament. I don't know. I think the last few nights especially have been quite good. The Tekkers are so fucking awesome. So, the Dangerous Tekkers, Finjuice, and Shingo and Sonata, they've resulted in... I have multiple 4-star matches. So, there's been some really good stuff. Let me see here, just off the top of my head. Yeah, Tekkers against Tana Hinare, I went 4. Tekkers against Sonata and Shingo, I went 4.25. Tekkers against Okan and Kabe, I went 4. Finjuice against Sonata Shingo, I went 4. So there's been a lot of good stuff in the tournament. There's just been a lot of bad stuff too, mostly with the Fale and Owens team, which have been brutal in this tournament. Really, if you want to enjoy the tournament, just skip their matches. Basically, that's what it comes down to. They've been pretty horrible. But there you go.
Yeah, so I've definitely been picking and choosing myself. Mostly if I see anything, if you recommend it or if someone else I kind of feel like I have similar taste with. I do need to watch that Tekkers and Empire match for one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's on my list.
Yeah, that was awesome. definitely recommended. So if you want to hear tomorrow's show reviewed, again, patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. Let's get over to the D-Ou now, the DDT D-Ou. So to recap my thoughts, and I guess you've seen all of it so far, I assume?
Not yet.
Oh.
I've only seen night one and then today's show.
Okay, well, you did.
I still need to watch the other two.
Well, you did. No, you don't actually, because those two shows fucking kind of sucked. So I was going to recap again for people who didn't hear my daily audio on the Patreon and the episode I did with Liam yesterday. I mean, night two especially, do not bother watching. That was a very disappointing show. I mean, it tops off with 3.5 stars in one match, and the main event, the Takeshita Akito match is like almost a half an hour, and just like really, really quite bad. I mean, I went 2 stars on it. So yeah, night 2, skip night 2 for sure. Night 3 is a little better. I still think very skippable. It still tops out at 3.5 stars, but at least the main event isn't like endless and bad. But it's still a pretty disappointing Endo-Ueno match at only 3.25. So yeah, I mean, they came into this show tonight needing a good show, because the last 2 nights of the D-Ou, after the first night, which was awesome. I mean, the first night from Korakuen we talked about in the free feed last week. That was an awesome show. They needed a good show, and I thought they had a good show. So, they desperately needed it, and they did have one here. Night 4 was today, Sunday, 11/29, from the Osaka Azazeria Taisho Hall. I looked up where this was in Osaka just to see if if it was anywhere near where I've been in the city. It looks like it's pretty far out in the Taisho ward. It's well to the southwest of even the Namba, like touristy area that I've been to. So it looks like this is like well outside of any areas where any tourists would go to, basically. But yeah, it's like quite not super far from there. Like, let's say from JR Namba Station, I bet it's only a little bit, but it's definitely just like past where I would have gone. So I definitely haven't been anywhere nearby. Yeah, it's only about 27 minutes from JR Namba. So, not really that far, I guess, but definitely not a place I've been to before. This show, the opener, was Antonio Honda defeating Keigo Nakamura with a backslide pin in 8:36. Obviously not a tournament match. Oh, and I should mention too the injury buy for the show. The guy who's supposed to fight Daisuke Sasaki, but Sasaki is out injured with a broken rib, as you talked about in the Patreon if you haven't heard since the last free show. So Sasaki's out. All the guys who are going to fight him get a injury buy. So that's Hirashima on this show. There was also supposed to be a scheduled night off because it's 7 guys per block, so someone gets a night off every show. It was Akito in the A block, and thank God, because Akito's been kind of brutal in this tournament so far. Usually a guy I really like too, but his tournament's not been good. And Shuma Katsumata in the B block got the night off as well. But yeah, this Honda Nakamura match, first of all, after I talked a lot on the Patreon about how great it was for those two Narimasu Act Hall shows to at least have announcers and single cam instead of just single cam, like you've had in the past years for D-Ou spot shows, we had no announcers for the show. So, it was like the Price is Right fail horn, I guess. It was like, da-da-da-da, no announcers. But yeah, I mean, I really miss the announcers because they do add energy to these single cam shows. But anyway, so the joke here was they end up under the ring. I guess we get loud noises or whatever, and they come out and they've swapped outfits, and Keigo starts doing Honda's whole stick with the punches and elbows, but then Honda backslides him and gets the pin. The ring announcer says Keigo Nakamura is the winner, and he's never won a match. Is a big part of this joke. His music plays. Honda, as Nakamura, does like an excited young lion celebration, and then finally he realizes, oh wait, I'm Antonio Honda, so I guess we didn't see the first Keigo Nakamura win ever, and Nakamura gets upset and they still in Honda gear back in the entranceway. I guess that was his plan, but to get his first win. So it's a pretty funny joke here. But yeah, the match was boring for a little while, but the joke at the end was funny. So
Yeah, I pretty much have the same opinion. Like, the match was whatever, but the finishing joke was pretty great. Like, I loved Nakamura, like, just being all depressed at the entryway when he found out he didn't actually get his first win.
Like, that was just such a clever way to announce a first ever Kengo Nakamura win without actually giving him a win. So it's like almost like a parody of like the Young Lion thing. So it was really funny.
Yeah, and I did like before they went outside and like switched their gear or whatever, they were both like dueling gone, the Foxes, but they kept missing because they'd slide over the other guy's head because they're both bald.
Match number 2, Harashima and Toru Owashi defeat Danshoku Dino and Kazuki Hirata. Harashima pinned Hirata with the Somato in 10-17. So there's a lot to this match. First of all, the idea is they still want the Daisuke Sasaki, like the guy who's supposed to face Sasaki, in a tournament match that's now getting a bye in each night. They still want that guy to have a match. So here it's a tag match with the DDT Variety team, right? Like that's what they've been claiming themselves as. So Hirata starts to give his normal speech about how they're going to decide a new Osaka Variety title, and we're going to blow away the D-O, and then Imabayashi, the authority figure of the promotion. I don't think he has official authority anymore, but they still act like he does. So he basically stops the match and berates them, and says they can't do a stupid comedy match because Harashima is in an important tournament and he can't afford to lose focus. And as always, big shout out to DDT English Update for the help here with the translations at DDT Pro _ENG on Twitter. But he tells them, Owashi, none of your dumb lucha, Dino, no ass, and Hirata, none of your stupid dancing. At one point, Imabayashi asked Dino, who wants to see the ass of a man in his 40s, and if he thought about his future. Some real savage shit. And then Dino, affirms that he'll be showing his ass well into his 50s, which is horrifying to think about. But Ima's not having it. But then Harashima finally, stops Imabayashi and says, I heard what you said through the curtain, and, I'm doing well in the D-O right now, and I'm thankful that you care about me. But more importantly, these guys do their best to make wrestling fun for the fans. They do it with pride. And Harashima's try to understand them, give them a chance. And Imabayashi's I'm sorry, I didn't even try to understand them. I will try my best to understand each and every one of them. For starters, I'll try to understand Dino. I will show my ass. And he gets up in the corner like Dino and pulls his pants down, even though everybody's no, this is not what we wanted. And he just stands there with his ass out forever. For a long time. Even well after the match ends. But yeah, Dino tells Harashima that what he said made him happy. And the undercard may not get to be a part of the D-O, but we still do our best to make the fans happy. And it also tells him, you do your best to win the D-O. And he pins Hirata with the Somato. This was fucking funny.
Yeah, I'll say I love this match. It was so funny. It's definitely a match you need to look up the DT English explanation of it, because that definitely helps a lot. And like you said, Imabayashi was up there with his ass out for so long, to the point where they disinfect the ring after matches. They even disinfected his ass while they were cleaning the
yeah, the crowd was laughing so hard at that. It was great.
Oh man, yeah, this was just a really funny match.
Match number 3, the first D-Ou Grand Prix match, the B block. So the way DDT's been doing these shows, they do all the matches from one block and all the matches from the other block, which I like. I happen to think that's a pretty cool way to do it. This is the B block. The first match, Kazusada Higuchi defeats Soma Takao with the Buchika Mashi at 11:30. Had to really sound that one out. And moves Higuchi up to 5 points and drops Takao to 4 points. You've been trying to learn Japanese too. Do you have a harder time with Romanji now? Because I feel like I'm so used to reading kanji and especially hiragana and katakana, readings of kanji that when I'm trying to read Romanji, it actually confuses my brain now.
My problem really with Romaji now is if it's a long vowel and they shorten it anyway, if it's supposed to be OU or O, and they just cut it to O, Keno's name for one, there's just 50 different ways to write his name in Romaji apparently, but yeah, it's I don't have trouble reading it. It's just sometimes they leave out stuff, so it makes it harder to pronounce accurately, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I've really been going hard on the immersing without Romaji, so now when I see it, it's, especially these longer words, I'm just like, oh yeah, I have to remember how to read this.
Definitely, like if you're learning Japanese, you want to drop Romaji as soon as possible.
Yeah. So Soma just kind of like very slowly stomps and beats on Higuchi for a while in a pretty uninteresting way for most of the first 5 minutes of this match. Higuchi finally makes a nice little comeback. He hits Soma with a big atomic drop. He hits a running shoulder block and a power slam for a 2 count. And then he goes after Higuchi's arm, but then Higuchi hits that big, I guess, shoulder block out of nowhere for the surprising pin. I didn't dig this at all, really. I thought Soma's offense was like beyond boring. Higuchi's comeback was pretty decent, but not worth sitting through the boring offense. And the closing stretch wasn't very exciting to me either. That shoulder block charge, which I guess I just mispronounced the name of. Not an exciting finisher, really. I don't know. 2.25 for me. Below average match.
I actually enjoyed this match a lot. Like, I think it was better than I expected going in, to be honest. Soma's kind of hit or miss with me, and I think he actually kind of delivered here, to me, at least. The beginning was a little it wasn't as good as it could have been, but pretty much once they were fighting outside and Soma made Higuchi chop the ring post to injure his arm, I thought it kind of got really good from there because it gave Soma a target to focus on, and it kept coming back in the match. Higuchi was I don't know, it was a bear hug kinda, and Soma reversed it into this arm lock that I thought was really good. And then Soma was stomping on his arm, and Higuchi got up and just dared him to strike him and caught the shoulder strike, or not the shoulder, the elbow strike with his head and shoulder, caught the strike. So I thought that was really good, and I kind of actually liked the finishing sequence, Higuchi going for that shoulder tackle, but then Soma just blocked it, only for Higuchi to immediately tackle him again for the win. I do agree, though, it is kind of anticlimactic of a finisher. I wish he'd come up with something else. His main finishers are the shoulder tackle and then the torture rack on the shoulders, kind of, or not torture rack, but I'm bad with move names.
It's Canadian backbreaker, I think.
Yeah, that. Yeah, those are his 2 main finishers, and I definitely think he could come up with something better, but I don't know. I really enjoyed this match.
Match number 4, Jun Akiyama defeats Makoto Oishi with the Fujiyama knee lock cutback in 10:49. Jun goes to 4 points and Oishi stays at 2. I like to start this match a lot with Oishi trying desperately to do anything to get the bigger Akiyama off his feet before Akiyama just easily stuffs him and eventually drills him with his pile driver, almost pulls him straight back from his takedown attempt into the pile driver, a very cool and natural looking way. And it's just very natural mat work in general. Oishi does eventually get some offense on Akiyama. He gets a big swinging DDT out of the corner. He tries to set him up for the Miracle Ecstasy Bomb, but that's easier said than done when it starts out as a choke slam. Akiyama easily fights him off. Oishi, survives the exploder, among other things, and gets his knee bar locked down on Akiyama on the mat. But when Oishi tries to pull back on it a little too hard, Akiyama's easily able to roll through it into the pin, and that gets him the 3 count. I like the finish a lot there. Oishi, just trying to pull back on it a little too hard, and it lets the bigger veteran Akiyama just roll through it for the pin. I thought this was a damn good match. A lot of cool mat work at the start. A great big versus small match in general. I went 3.5. Definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll say I really enjoyed this too. I was kind of a little bit surprised that Akiyama won. Obviously he can beat anybody, but I kind of figured he has to lose sometime in this tournament, and all he's really lost to is Endo. So I figured losing to Oishi wouldn't be a terrible loss for him, especially since Oishi's supposed to be the leader of Junretsu, not Akiyama. But like I said, I think it was really mat-based at the beginning, which I kind of expected going in, since that's kind of Oishi's specialty. But I loved Oishi just kicking out of everything from Akiyama, those, including the exposed running knee. And I guess you said the finish was really good with Akiyama just rolling him up, not necessarily getting a decisive win, but a win nonetheless, because Oishi kind of slipped up. And I really liked Oishi's selling of the defeat after the match. And yeah, it's probably 3.25, 3.5, yeah.
Match number 5 was Tetsuya Endo defeating Yuki Ueno with the Shooting Star Press in 22:56. that moves Endo up to 7 points and drops Ueno stays at 2 points. This was fucking awesome. A really high energy start with both guys going hard and fast at each other. Neither is able to land like a real blow. They eventually fight out to the apron after the 5-minute mark, where Ueno drops Endo with like a hard snap DDT. Endo continues just like bumping all over the place for Ueno throughout the match. He takes this really cool like counter stunner off the ropes after Endo had been looking for something else. I don't remember what, honestly. It was maybe like a suplex off there or something. But then he also takes this like really like awesome flying bump right on his neck off a Ueno dropkick or missile dropkick off the top. We get a pretty crazy no-sell exchange with Endo no-selling a half Nelson suplex from Ueno. Ueno no-sells a super kick. Endo no-sells an enziguri. And then finally, Ueno no-sells a Canadian Destroyer and like rolls right on top of Endo when they hit the ground for a close pin attempt. That could have been hokey, but I thought it looked awesome. Mainly because they both they were both still like subtly selling the moves as they stagger back to their feet. And that last roll-up by Ueno after hitting the mat was awesome. And it leads to a double knockout tease after a lariat by Endo and then a big dropkick by Ueno. So it was like they were still selling the accumulation of all those moves. And that had a little more weight than usual because, Endo Higuchi on the last show had just ended with a double knockout. Ueno hits an awesome Rana counter to an Endo powerbomb. They pull that off perfectly, like just jumped up in midair. Just really did a great job with that for super close near fall. And then Endo is finally able to finish Ueno off with the torture rack bomb, followed by the shooting star press for the win. I went 4 stars on this. Easily match of the night. Up there for the best of the tournament so far. I don't quite think it's up there. Like, I think I still liked which one am I thinking of? One of the matches from night 2. Probably the Ueno and Higuchi match, I think. From night 1, I mean. I think that was my favorite match. They're all 4 stars, though, so, I mean, it's close. But yeah, this is easily the best since night 1. And Ueno put up a great fight. I thought he might really pull it off, win the champion versus champion match here since Ueno's the Universal Champion. But they're really running with the unbeatable, KOD Openweight Champion thing for Endo right now. You have to respect that booking. So I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely love this match. It was the best match these two have had yet in their little series they're doing this year. This matchup is like a whole has kind of been hit or miss with me this year. I forgot which one it was, which one's which, but I remember one of their matches I just didn't like at all, and one of them I liked, but still not as much as the others, or other people seem to. I think it was the Gauntlet cash-in that I didn't really like that much.
Oh yeah, I did like that a lot. So,
but yeah, Ueno's been on a roll since winning the Universal title. And this kind of just continued it because I just thought this match was awesome. I was surprised so much of this was Endo working from underneath early on, but it kind of made sense in the end since pretty much went all out against each other. But there's one really gruesome looking spot that happened right around the 20-minute call. I think it might have been right before it. It was up on the turnbuckle. I don't know what Ueno was trying to do, but it ended up kind of just him dropping Endo on his neck on the turnbuckle. It ended up looking kind of cool, but I don't know what he was trying to do, and it took him forever to actually set it up. That's really my main nitpick about the match. But beyond that, I thought it was a great match. Like you, I think I don't know if it's my favorite match of the tournament so far, but it's definitely my number 2 probably.
Yeah.
I think Higuchi Ueno has been my it's probably definitely my top match so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think I liked Higuchi Ueno better. This and Endo Akiyama is close. I think I like this a little better than Endo Akiyama from night 1, so this is probably my number 2 match so far of the tournament. But yeah, I mean, the nights 2 and 3 just didn't give anything on that level, so very glad that we got at least one more awesome match, on this show.
Yeah, I think those 3 are the main matches so far of the tournament, and probably all around 4.25 for me.
Yeah. Match number 6 in the A block, Mao defeats Yukio Sakaguchi with the Michinoku Driver 2 in 9:53. So Mao moves up to 4 points, and Yukio's stuck at 4 points. They started this out pretty tentatively. Mao got some kind of wacky head scissors with his whole body extended outward. It was very wacky looking, but Sakaguchi was very close to the ropes and made it fairly easily. Get a decent moonsault off the second turnbuckle to the floor from Mao just before the 5-minute mark. I didn't really have to say from Mao there. Sakaguchi's not doing moonsaults off the second turnbuckle anytime soon. Sakaguchi comes back with a nice strike combination, some hard slaps to the face, but misses his charging knee in the corner when Mao dodges, and then Mao hits a great missile dropkick to the back of the head. Mao gets a big spinning kick to counter a charging Sakaguchi, a palm strike, and then a Michinoku driver for a pretty surprising pin. I thought this was pretty good. The finish was very much out of nowhere for me. I would have liked to see them go a little longer here, but what they did was mostly good stuff, so I would go 3.25 stars.
Yes, I thought this was a pretty cool match. I liked Mao kind of doing more of a striking and mat-based match early on instead of his usual high speed, high flying kind of stuff. Still had a little bit the moonsault and that stuff that you mentioned, but I'm not sure Sakaguchi is the kind of guy you want to try and have a striking match with, though, since that's kind of his bread and butter. But yeah, the finish felt kind of out of nowhere.
It worked for Mao, though.
Yeah, it worked for him because he beat him. The finish felt kind of out of nowhere, like you said, which I'm not sure I liked. It was it happened, and I was like, oh, that's really the finish, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably 3.25 too. But yeah, it's I enjoyed it, but the finish kind of came out of nowhere for me.
Main event in the A block, Chris Brooks defeats Konosuke Takeshita by referee stoppage with a modified arm lock in 24-21. Moves Brooks up to 6 points, and Takeshita still at 4 points. All right, so this match, kind of a slow start. Really struggled to maintain my attention for the first 10 minutes. The very dead, even by COVID standards crowd all night didn't really help either. But other matches did more to overcome it. And these two just worked very slow early on, which combined with the atmosphere just is not a great combo. It did pick up with both guys throwing elbows on the floor. Brooks suddenly sent Takeshita hard into the post, and Takeshita was selling the Band-Aids up arm pretty well, I guess. Although, like I'm going to talk about at the end, I don't think that's his strong point. Brooks put him in an octopus hold as referee Matsuuri's count got higher and higher, and then tried to rush back into the ring to leave Takeshita to be counted out, but Take was able to just make it back in. They fight on the top rope. That fight honestly felt kind of endless to me, which didn't help with how much the match was dragging for me at that point. Before Takeshita was finally able to get a superplex. That was just before the 15-minute mark. We did at least get a more exciting suplex trading sequence soon after that. That was cool. Leads to another double knockout tease. We got a ref bump and a Brooks low blow before hitting the praying mantis bomb. Really channeling evil here, I guess. But Takeshita still kicks out at 2. And then Takeshita's able to pull him into a big lariat out of nowhere for a 2 count. I don't love that, because you had to pull him with the arm that he's been selling all match. Looked pretty stupid. It looked cool, I guess, but it just stupid, didn't make a lot of sense, Takeshita then tries to get him for a deadlift German, but Brooks smartly goes after the bad arm to reverse it into, this wacky hold, and then finally gets the arm pulled back after a long struggle, and the referee does stop it. Yeah, and then interesting that Takeshita was willing to shake hands with the guy who low blowed him after the match. Very nice of him. But yeah, I don't know what to do with this match. It was long and dull for a lot of those stretches. The best parts were in the finishing stretch, so that's nice. The finish made sense, but most of it was just not that interesting to me. And I know I've talked about this behind the paywall, but the problem with Takeshita doing this Go Shiozaki arm injury shit all tournament is that he's not Go Shiozaki when it comes to selling. It's not remotely his strength. I don't find him to be a sympathetic or interesting babyface. And, what he does well is, the big, puro, bomb-throwing, modern matches with, a million lariats and a million suplexes. That's what he does well. He executes moves about as well as anybody in wrestling now. But, he is not a interesting, or, I don't know, he just doesn't come across as, a vulnerable, sympathetic guy at all. When he's so much bigger than most of these guys in this tournament. He's still... Brooks is a little taller, but Takeshita still looks like he has 20 pounds on him. I don't know. I don't find it interesting. I don't find it, entertaining. So I'll give this the gentleman's 3. Move on with my life. It wasn't bad or anything, but definitely nothing you need to go out of your way to see.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the crowd because I was going to, because I didn't want to project my own thoughts onto the crowd, but they just did not seem to give a shit about this match for the majority of it. I know it was a COVID crowd, so it's kind of hard to tell the reactions, but it felt very quiet for the majority of this match until the end. And I'm very hot and cold on Brooks singles matches. I hated his Universal title run, to be honest, other than his match with Drew and the match with Ueno where he lost the belt. And then his match where he won the title between these two, I thought was fine. but I remember a lot of people kind of thought it was great. But this match, pretty much same I felt about their last match. I thought it was fine. It was a really slow start. Like, it was mostly Chris in control for the first half, and I can't say his offense is that thrilling, to be honest. It wasn't really until the 15-minute mark when they did anything particularly interesting. They were really trying hard to put on like an epic feeling match, and a hot crowd probably would have helped that. But like I said at the start, like the crowds did not seem into it at all, and ended up being just a really kind of dull match with a hot closing stretch. Like, the closing stretch was very good, but it's just like the rest of the match did nothing for me, and I'd probably go over about 3-2 myself.
Yeah, it just wasn't much of anything other than the closing stretch, like you said. But there you go. This was still a lot better than nights 2 and 3, mostly because of that Endo-Ueno match. Like, nothing on either of those shows comes close to that match. And this was, even a match that I didn't love here was still a lot better than that Takeshita Akito made have been on night 2. So, definitely improved here from nights 2 and 3. Still well below night 1. So hopefully as we get into more of these shows next weekend, because we got a lot of time off here before the next show, hopefully at that point things will start picking up, because it hasn't been a great tournament so far, honestly. Here are your D-Ou standings after night 4. The A block, Hiroshima all alone on the top. He's 3-0 with 6 points. Chris Brooks is 3-2 with 6 points. Yukio Sakaguchi is 2-1. Wait, how the fuck is Brooks 3-2? Did he really? I guess he wrestled 4 matches on top of getting his bye win. I don't know. Maybe I have that wrong. Maybe he's 3-1. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I have him down as 3-2 with 6 points. Yukio Sakaguchi, the Daisuke Sasaki thing really screwed up the A block, because all these guys have an extra win except for Takeshita. Yukio Sakaguchi is 2-1 with 4 points. Akito and Mao are both 2-2 with 4 points. And then Konosuke Takeshita is 1-2 with 2 points. And then Sasaki will finish his tournament 1-5 with 2 points. The B block, you have Tetsuya Endo, 3-0-1 for 7 points. Katsudata Higuchi right behind him, 2-1-1 for 5 points. We have Jun Akiyama and Soma Takao, both 2-1 for 4 points. And then Yuki-Ueno at 1-2 for 2 points. Makoto Oishi 1-3 for 2 points. And Shuma Katsumata 0-3, 0 points. So night 5 is from Tokyo Nayamasu Act Hall. It is a free show, so another free show here for the fans to attend. It's not until Friday, December 4th, so you got 5 days off here. They're only doing weekend shows basically. Akito is the guy who's supposed to fight Daisuke Sasaki, so he has a night off, and the scheduled night off is Chris Brooks from A block and Tetsuya Endo from B block. Match number 1 here is Danshoku Dino and Akito versus Mizuki Watase and Hideki Okatani. The A block, and these, by the way, are not the final order yet. They don't have that up yet, so don't know what the actual order will be. But the A block is Takeshita versus Mao. Interesting to see if they keep the Takeshita arm injury storyline going, or if they have him beat Mao here. It could be like a big win for Mao if they want to go that route, but something tells me Takeshita will get back on track here and at least be relevant towards the end of the tournament. I don't know. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It could go either way.
Yeah.
I really don't know what they're going with the Takeshita angle right now. I'm curious if it actually ends up being him joining Damnation, but
yeah,
I doubt it.
I doubt
we'll see.
Too. Match 3, I should stop saying match 3 because we don't know the order. The next A block match: Hiroshima versus Yukio Sakaguchi. Hiroshima still undefeated here. I kind of think Sakaguchi's going to win and give him his first loss. I could be wrong, but just a feeling I have. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I could see Yukio beating him, but I'm not sure. Like some of these matches are really still up in the air right now.
Match 4 the B block: Katsudata Higuchi versus Shuma Katsumata. Shuma still has 0 points, but I think Higuchi is going to beat him. I don't see Shuma getting his first win on Higuchi.
Yeah, I think Shuma's just going to eat a lot of pins, unfortunately.
Then we got Soma Takao and Jun Akiyama, both at 4 points. I think Jun is going to be in the mix here at the end, so I think Jun's going to win.
Yeah, I definitely think Jun's probably going to win this one.
And then Makoto Oishi versus Yuki-Ueno. Oishi's only at 2 points. Ueno already has 4. I could see Ueno winning this, but yeah, I don't know. I think I could see Oishi winning too. So
Yeah, I think Ueno is going to win this because he's like 2-2 right now. So I'd probably get him another win, but it wouldn't surprise me if Oishi won either.
Oh, maybe he's only... Actually, no, I think he's only 1-2. But I don't know. I actually think he's only 1-2 with 2 points. I think I wrote that wrong. But anyway. It's hard with all these, like, different guys on different, like, different... Some of them had a bye already, some of them haven't, But anyway.
Yeah.
But I think Ueno's at 1-2. So maybe Ueno will win that, actually. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. So that will be covered on the Patreon. Like I said, you can sign up at patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. Only $5, and we'll be covering that on Friday with a Patreon exclusive doubleheader with myself and VOW contributor Jeff Andrews, along with the World Tag League show that day. So definitely check that out. All right, so before we wrap things up here, I did put out a call for questions. I haven't done that in a million years. See if anyone had any questions on those 3 shows. So let's see here. First of all, from the Super Jcast Discord server. Okay, Velke Braca says he wants to know, why do you always have bad takes, TJ? What do you say?
I think I have good takes. He's just a fan of bad, or not, I don't want to say bad people, but he's just mad because I was happy when Tommy won Mayu for the title.
Yeah.
Among other things, because I remember he was very upset when Higuchi lost the sword back to Endo, and I was just rubbing it in his face the entire time.
There you go. Up next, we have Michael CC. How many bandanas should Robbie Eagles be wearing? That's a question for the ages. I'm going to say at least 12 bandanas.
I think he should make his next gear out of bandanas, just only bandanas.
Only bandanas. Only bandana gear.
His entrance gear makes him look like such a dork, man.
Yeah, kind of.
I did love Hiromu kind of taunting him with like the eyepiece thing while he was up on the corner pad. Yeah,
that was pretty funny. I want to confirm, by the way, Ueno does only have 2 points. Double check this to make sure. So there you go. I did write down 4 by accident. The last question here from the Discord server, M. Gallup says, this is a good question that I'm excited to go through here. He says, Techers are the best champions since blank. Now, the best tag champions, I should say. I'm assuming we're only keeping this to heavyweight tag titles. And we have to go through the reigns here. Basically, the easiest way to do it is to go back through the tag title reigns and try to find a reign that is better than the Techers. So I'm going to read them out pretty rapid fire, and you can tell me if you think any of these are better than the Dangerous Techers reign so far, just including their tag title reign and their World Tag League stuff so far. I think they've been incredible. I don't know if you agree or not, but let's see. Let's see if we think any of these are better. Golden Ace.
No. Our Techers are better, I should say.
Golden Ace, because it was a good reign, but it was like 2 seconds, really, with the COVID.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, they had good matches, but they were having good matches with Techers, and like you said, it didn't last long, so it's kind of hard to judge it. 0 defenses, so 142 days with 0 defenses because of COVID. GOD's 6th reign, 20 days, 0 defenses. No. Techers definitely better than that.
Finjuice, 28 days, 0 defenses. No.
I had high hopes for that reign, but they kind of just ended that real quickly. But so yeah, no, Techers better.
Guerrillas of Destiny, their 5th reign, 315 days, 7 defenses, from February 2019 to January 2020. I could not tell you a single fucking one of those off the top of my head. It's a big no from me, dog.
I remember they beat the Bucks for the titles, but that's about all I remember.
No.
Reign.
This is the reign where they beat Evil and Sonata at Honor Rising in 2019.
Oh, right, yeah, because that was going to be like the MSG match, and then they took it off Evil and Sonata right before. Yeah, that's a no.
LIJ Evil and Sonata's 2nd reign, 50 days, 1 defense, no.
Yeah, no.
GOD's 4th reign, 96 days, no defenses, no.
I don't even remember that.
So, well, that's the one where they beat the Young Bucks, but they had no defenses. Despite holding the title for over 3 months. So they beat the Young Bucks of Fighting Spirit Unleashed. Which I remember that was probably the best Young Bucks God match for sure, if they had more than one. I mean, that match was pretty good. But
yeah, it wasn't a bad match. Yeah. That's probably why I remember it, actually. But yeah, I'll say that reign. I try and block 2018 New Japan from my mind as much as possible.
It was pretty bad. Evil and Sonata. Reign number 1, 156 days, 2 defenses. No. I mean, if this was a good reign, but no. This is the original one they won at Wrestle Kingdom 12. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was definitely a good reign, but Techers are definitely on a better roll so far.
KES, third reign, 102 days in 2017. Hell no.
They held the belt for that long, man. Yeah, but definitely no. But I did not think they held it for that long.
One defense. War Machine, 85 days, their second reign, 85 days, 3 defenses. I think all of them were a fucking 3-way with God and KS when they kept running that match over and over again. That is a no.
God, that was a 3-way.
Yeah, that's what the endless 3-way.
Yeah, that's definitely a no. That reign was so bad.
God.
Well, even them, because I like War Machine, but it's like, no.
God, third reign, 20 days, no defenses. Hell no.
Yes, I definitely know.
War Machine, reign 1, 63 days, 1 defense, April 2017. No.
Yeah, say the same, so no.
Tenkozi's sixth reign from March 2017, 34 days, no defenses. No.
I forgot they held the belts that recently.
Yeah, that was when unfortunately Homa broke his neck, and they had to replace Homa and Makabe. But yeah, in a previously scheduled match.
No.
Ishii and Yano, their first reign, 61 days, 2 defenses. That's another no.
Yeah, definitely no.
God, 86 days, 1 defense. No.
Yeah, no.
Reign 2. Briscoe brothers, 113 days, 2 defenses. They won the belts at Dominion 2016. That will be a no from me. I don't even remember anything about that reign, except I guess they fought the Young Bucks while they were still juniors, I guess. But
I'm trying to remember if that was even during my time or not. Like, I remember them having the belts, so I must have seen something, but yeah, it's a no.
I'm getting tired of this game already, but let me see if I can get through it. Find anything here. GOD's first reign, no. GBH, Makabe and Hama's first reign, no. These are all 1 defense, by the way. Bullet Club, Gallows and Anderson's third reign, 183 days with 1 defense. Excuse me? What?
That's insane.
6 months and you got 1 fucking defense? From July 2015 to January 2016. I kind of want to know what the 1 defense is now. So let's fire up Cage Match and see if we can find it. Because now, what is the 1 glorious defense that these motherfuckers had during this 6-month reign? And it's a no, by the way, of course. But let's see here. IWGP Tag Team Champions, 183 days. Their 1 defense was against Tenkoji at Destruction in Okayama. I'm sure it was thrilling. 13 minutes. So they made... That's 13 more minutes than you or I defended the titles. Yeah, so that's a no. The Kingdom, Matt Taven and Michael Bennett, 91 days, no defenses. That's a no. Gallows and Anderson, their second reign, 53 days, no defenses. No. Goto and Shibata, 38 days, no defenses. I remember being fucking furious when they lost those belts right back to Gallows and Anderson the following month at New Beginning in Osaka. They won them at Wrestle Kingdom 9 after Gallows and Anderson had them for 365 days exactly. Made 6 defenses, probably 0 of which were good. Let me just look through this because I'm curious. Because that reign's going to be a no too, probably. But let's just say. You're going to have to go really far back to find it. Yeah, wow. They faced the Killer Elite Squad, Goto and Shibata. I remember liking that one, actually, of Beijing Attack 2014. Captain Taiwan, Captain New Japan, at a Taiwan show. And Hiroki Goto, 9.5 minutes. What a defense. The Briscoes in the U.S., Tanahashi and Makabe at Dominion, Okada and Yoshihashi at Destruction in Kobe, and then they lost the belts. So yeah, no. So that's no for both those reigns. Then KES, Power Struggle, 56 days, no defenses. Tenkozi, May 2013, 190 days, 2 defenses. Again, what was the problem with scheduling tag title defenses? I don't understand. Like, over 6 months, you had 2 defenses. KES, 207 days, 5 defenses. That might be the first contender. That was the KES reign from October 2012 to May 2013. Let me look through these matches. I don't think they probably had a pretty good reign. But probably not as good as Dangerous Tekkers. Let's just see, though. Tenkoji, yeah, that was okay. Goto and Anderson, I remember liking that. Wrestle Kingdom. Tenkoji again. Nakamura and Ishii, that was probably good, but I don't remember it. And they made a defense on a show in Houston. Okay. Oh, that's when they won the NWA tag titles while they were still IWGP Tag Champions. But yeah, probably not as good as the Tekkers, but that's probably the first like legitimate contender. Yeah, you might have to go really far back. I mean, the last, before that is Tenkozy again, their fourth reign, 78 days. Before that is Iizuka and Yano for 48 days. Tenkozy again, 120 days. And then Bad Intentions, Bernard and Anderson, 564 days, 10 defenses. I would say they are at least the best champions since Bad Intentions, June 2010. That might be the answer. And I would have not seen enough of that reign to tell you if, this was better or that was better. People did like a lot of those tag title matches. So that might be your answer. I mean, that was certainly a very memorable reign, both from a time and defense standpoint. I think it has both records. But let me say, for like a single reign.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, let's just. Can check that in 2 seconds. So for days, it has the record by a lot. The second best is Choten's fourth reign in 2002, which is 446 days. And defenses, it also has the record by a lot. Choten had 7 defenses in that same reign, and the GOD, starting in February 2019, had 7 defenses as well. So yeah, it is the best tag title reign since at least Bad Intentions in 2010, I think. Because, man, these belts... I mean, Dangerous Tekkers have been awesome, but also, man, these belts have sucked. That is... it's both, for sure. So...
Yeah, I'll say it's been a struggle for this tag division in New Japan, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's kind of on the upward trajectory right now. At least we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's see. I know that we got at least one Twitter question, and then we can wrap it up here. The Twitter question okay, it was from, let's say, Renegade Dugongs. If you were a wrestler and broke your neck and had to recover for over a year, when you came back, would you A, gradually ease your way back into it like a normal person, or B, just immediately become the best wrestler in the world again? Wonder who he's referring to here. Obviously, Honma. But
oh yeah.
But yes. You ever see that Taichi Kanemaru that Taichi Kanemaru video where they do the New Japan draft? The collection card game, and they're just owning everybody basically.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's highly recommended. But yeah, when they draft, Taichi drafts Hiromu and Honma like in the same little draft, and he goes, maybe I should make a faction of people with weak necks. And it was like, wow, just putting it out there, I guess. But yeah, so there you go. The answer is obviously B. So if you're Hiromu Takahashi,
yeah, I'll say if I was a wrestler, I would take it gradually, but I'm not Hiromu, so Hiromu, I can't believe how quickly he's come back to form. Pretty much came back at the Wrestle Kingdom and looked the same as he always did.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, so that will do it then. Why don't you go ahead and get your plugs in here, TJ?
Yeah, as John said at the beginning of the show, I host a podcast, the One Wrestling Podcast, similar format to Omakase. We kind of just pick random pro shows and discuss them each week. We talk a little bit of everything though. We talk a little bit of Western stuff too. I'm one of the people that watches AEW every week, so I kind of talk about that usually, and then just other random stuff I watch. But this coming week should pop up. We're recording it tomorrow, so it should be up on your feeds if you check it out. November 30th. This week, we're still doing tournament coverage, so if you didn't get enough of me talking about tournaments here, you can listen to me and my co-host Caitlin talk about the D-Ou and Best Super Juniors, and hopefully Real World Tag League, because the latest night just happened today, but it's VOD, so we'll see when it gets uploaded. But
yeah, that's the one that's the one I haven't been covering at all, because I know 3 is my limit, but I've heard it's been good.
Yeah, it's been pretty good overall. Nothing stand out really yet, but it's been enjoyable so far. But the main topic's going to be the Dragon Gates, Gate of Origin, I think, was the one that just happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. So,
yeah, we'll talk about that and just news and stuff like that in general. So if that interests you, check it out. It's like I said, One Wrestling Pod or One Wrestling Podcast. The Twitter is at One Wrestling Pod, and then if you want to follow me for all my ramblings on Twitter, you can do so at ASPIR_.
All right, there you go. You can follow us on Twitter, always at Wrestle Omakase. Wrestling Would Not Fit. We'll be back next week here on the free feed with another show covering the World, as a World Tag League or Best Super Juniors, actually. It's both. So next Sunday, we'll cover the World Tag League and Best of Super Junior Double Night 9, the second double night they're doing after the first night, which is the last round robin night for both of them. And then we'll also be covering DDT D-Ou Night 6. So I have a guest sort of lined up for that, but it's tentative, so don't want to announce it yet until she confirms with me that she could do it. But that'll be, if not her, I'll get somebody. I always find somebody. So that'll be our next free episode. But don't forget, patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. We got tons of stuff coming up this week on the Patreon. World Tag League Night 7 tomorrow, Monday. Best of Super Junior Night 7 Wednesday. Another doubleheader with me and Jeff Andrews, covering World Tag League Night 8 and D-Ou Night 5. And then Saturday, Best of Super Juniors Night 8. So much tournament stuff coming up this week on the Patreon. If you can't get enough of tournament coverage, we'll be doing all that. So that, and we also do like a little bit of Japanese geography with these more obscure venues, and also get into like histories at the venues and stuff, which there's not much point doing for Korakuen Hall, but it is fun to do for like some of these obscure venues they run during this tour. So we'll talk the Beppu Beacon Plaza, the Sonarita Sendai, and the Fukuoka International Center and all that stuff. So that'll be coming up on the Omakase Patreon. In the meantime, thank you as always for listening, and we will see you next time.